stuff, but let's talk about this. If young Jimmy come up and knocked on the door and said, hey, what are y'all doing in the shed? And he come up and stood there. He's 18 years old. Young Jimmy is. Mm-hmm. Okay? And you had to give young Jimmy some advice on his life. Okay? Now, I understand this, and and I don't want to be rough on you with this. I understand you can tell him, young Jimmy, fall on your knees and give your life to the Lord. Mm-hmm. I got that. Okay? But I'm going to put more pressure on you. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm not talking about his soul. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about his life and his decisions. Mm-hmm. What would you tell him?
First of all, I'd tell him to be honest with himself and others and his morals, mm-hmm. and take care of his business and stuff, mm-hmm. With integrity. Operate everything in his life with excellence and integrity.
Yeah.
And that'll give you a good future. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And be honest in all your dealings. That's one thing I would tell anybody, mm-hmm. because I see people that don't do that, right. And they end up in a mess. Their life will end up in a mess.
Yeah.
But if you're just honest, mm-hmm. and that goes, and people know that. I mean, it shows, it tells, right. It'll go. Your words will go before you.
Yes.
Before they'll get in your life, in places in your life before you do. Mm-hmm. And so if you operate in excellence and integrity in everything you do, yeah, it'll bring you out on top.
What would you tell him to invest in? What would you tell him to put his money at?
Real estate. Mm-hmm. I'd tell him to put his money in real estate, and gold would work good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And stock market's up and down. If you and the money market is the same way. Mm-hmm. If you know what you're doing, right. You can do well in that. But if you don't, you can get eat up fast.
You know, I spoke to a friend of mine who's been very successful in that area, and one of the things he said is, I've never wanted to be a trader. I only invest in good companies, mm-hmm. and live off the dividends. Mm-hmm. And as far as I'm concerned, he's a genius. Okay, but he said, in my life, I never wanted to be a trader. Mm-hmm. And he began to share with me, and he shared a lot of great things with me that really helped me. But he said, when I'm looking at something, I'm looking at a company and stock. Now, see, and when me or guys like us, we look at it different. We want to buy it for a penny and wait till it hits $1. Okay, mm-hmm. which is, a fool's errand in the end for me. Okay, yeah. Not for you, but I'm saying for me.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean, he was so solid and shared with me and showed me what worked. Mm-hmm. But he said, I buy good companies, mm-hmm. and I research the people that run it, mm-hmm. and I research the company, and I buy into that company, mm-hmm. and I live off the dividends, mm-hmm. and he had been very successful at that, mm-hmm. and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at your life and talking to well, if we're talking to young Jimmy now, and we've got him here all hemmed up, okay, we got to talk to him about love. Mm-hmm. We got to talk to him about his heart and love, and that's a challenge, mm-hmm. to say these are things to watch out for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not easy to do.
No.
I know I would tell young John a lot of things. Mm-hmm. I'd tell him some of the girls stay away from. Mm-hmm. And you know what I mean? Don't go there. That's not good, mm-hmm. and stay. And there's things in life that we run into, man. I think about how, if we could look back, I would share with myself, and I think you would also, to enjoy your life too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Enjoy the times you can enjoy, mm-hmm. and take time and don't wait. Yeah. And do that. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but I mean, I find that for me that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I could do it. I don't know. I would tell him to keep that Nova if it was young John. Hey, I used to have a nice Nova. Keep that. I had a Camaro, a convertible Camaro. I would have kept that. Mm-hmm. If we'd have kept some of those cars.
Oh, yeah.
That would go along.
Yeah.
All right. One more last thing I want to deal with, okay?
Right.
This is a hard one. If you had to say today, I want to be a better husband. Okay? I want to be a better husband. This is how I can improve. Now, if there is no way to improve, and I've had some people awful close on that. Lawrence was awful close on him. Couldn't really find a way to improve. But I mean, Mickey Hell hem-hauled me. He sort of went into preacher mode, and I said, no, I mean, if you could be if I said today, what do you think not what she said you need to do, but what do you think you need to do to be a better husband?
Wash my mouth, what I say. Wash my attitudes.
Right.
And say be very thoughtful of what I say before I say it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think one thing would be with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And attitude. Yeah.
Yeah. I think respect is. We have to be sure and respect the people we love.
And of course, I love her with all my heart.
Right.
I mean, my wife I have. She's awesome. But I think that would be one of my weakest points, is to watch my attitude and my words, and try to please her more, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Do you find yourself apologizing ever?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize.
I do that too.
Absolutely.
I think that's important, don't you?
It is, and she does too.
Yeah.
She, we do that.
I think that's important. Brother Mickey, we talked about that. He said the longer you let things set, the bigger they get. It's like a tree you plant.
Yeah.
And if you let things set, instead of apologizing, be swift to apologize.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
And show respect. I mean, I really try to be careful. Okay, now we've dealt with some really cute spiritual stuff, but I mean, do you pick up your underwear and your socks? You pick that stuff if you don't leave it laying around?
No.
Okay, you don't. And I'm not asking about making the bed because I don't make the bed either. But do you sweep or vacuum? Do you do any kind of those things?
Not really.
I don't either. What about washing dishes?
No.
I wash dishes. We don't have a dishwasher, and we almost argue over who's going to wash dishes sometimes. I like to do it. I don't know, something about it. It's just me and her, and I like washing this. Now, she don't let me a lot because I think I don't do good. Okay, but I think when respect...
That's what I get into when I do. I don't do a good job, you say.
Well, so improving, what you got to do, you're saying, is you got to ease up a little bit and be a little slower to say some things.
Yeah.
And be a little more understanding, patient.
Yeah.
And, I need to write this stuff down so I can give it to Michelle. I need to know what kind of commitment we're making.
Yeah.
All right? So, and we have to do that with people we love.
Yeah, we do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes people can be crueler to people they love than other people. And we have to be careful with that. Yeah. Steve Branch, I love what he said one time. He said that he was telling me about, he said, his wife said, I wish you were as nice and thoughtful to me as you are to those people in the church.
Wow.
And he said, man, that destroyed me.
Wow.
And it made a lot of sense. He said, I looked at my life different and started saying, that makes sense.
Wow.
And we have to do that because it's easy sometimes to get wrapped up. And I don't know. I mean, I found it. For me, I try to work on it and be careful with it, not be, to be it's a little bit easier. And show respect. At night I try not to leave a pop can or a wrapper or a piece of paper. I don't want her to get up in the morning and find anything out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah, I try to do that. I pick up after myself.
Yeah.
I just always did that when I was home. I was always thought that way. Of course, in my own home, I try to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't sweep. I've never swept or mopped. I've never done that. But other things I try my best to do. She won't let me run the washing machine. She won't let me do that. I think it's Lawrence does all the washing. He said, I don't do any of that. I can't figure all the buttons out on that thing. If it just said wash and something like that, but nowadays it's all this digital stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I can't figure it all out.
Last one we got was real complicated.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Jim, I sure appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Let's do this. Before we do this, let's do one more thing.